Yeah. Got the drop top Hummer for the summer, yeah. Go yard bad with 100, yeah. And I know why you mad, cause I'm stunting, yeah. Say I know why you mad, cause I'm stunting, yeah.
Good to be back, right?
Absolutely. We only got a couple more episodes before school lets out. I'm Bobby Levine. Alongside me is Jackson Schroeder, as always. Action-packed episode this week tonight. I want to give a huge shout out to our editing team, Nate Sexauer, Blake Hardesty, Aaron Sleep, and Mattino Zacek here right behind us as well. We've got Matt Harrington coming on last for NBA. We've got Shane Dazen and Ethan Graham to talk about hockey in our second segment. We're live on Facebook. We got the editing team to edit this tonight, tomorrow morning, but putting it up as well on our Facebook or our YouTube page. Excuse me. If you guys can share this on Facebook, and if once you see this on YouTube, share that as well. Got to get to our sponsor real quick. Joe Andrews with the J&J Mobile Detailing, right off East State, right behind Avalanche Pizza. Get your car washed up. Shampooed, washed, waxed, conditioned, everything. Anything you want to do with that car, he'll get it done and make it all spick and clean for you. The weather's crazy, folks. It's going to snow tonight. Going to be very, very nice this weekend. So might as well get your car washed this weekend.
Yeah.
Go on down.
After the snow. Get your car washed. Tell him the J and B podcast sent you. He'll hook you guys up, and he also has great prices. So let's dive in here. Yeah, definitely.
Let's talk about March Madness first. The Gonzaga Bulldogs played a great game against North Carolina Tar Heels. Just couldn't come up in the end.
No, they couldn't come up in the end. And there's been a lot of complaining about the officiating in that game all the way through with all the fouls called. So some dynamic stars for both teams fouling out, which had a huge impact on the game. And, of course, that last call on the loose ball that they made a jump ball, and he appeared to be out of bounds. Yep. Some controversy there. How I looked at the final of this game is that it's just a better, more tenured, stronger program having the confidence to win. I mean, this was Gonzaga's first trip to the Final Four, let alone the championship game. They'll get back there. I thought they were too athletic to lose. I was wrong about that. North Carolina handled them. But it was a great game, and those 6 points that they got beat by in the end don't even reflect how intense and close this game was all the way through.
Okay, so I got a couple things to mention on this game. I think Gonzaga was the better team, except they don't have the depth.
Yeah.
The problem with Gonzaga is they're a smaller program than North Carolina. Their bench play isn't as strong. And when Collins fouled out with 9 points in one of their big men, and then you had Karnowski with 4 fouls pretty much the entire second half, 3 and 4, that kills your team. You have no more height after that. Every player on North Carolina that's playing down the 3, 4, and 5 positions are humongous. I mean, you saw later in the second half when Meeks got in foul trouble, they had guys that back him up. He only had 7 points, but he had 10 rebounds, huge for them. Unfortunately for Gonzaga, the fouls added up. And then also shooting-wise, they shot 33% from the field as a whole, the whole game. The second half, they shot under 30%. It was very hard to watch.
And they weren't getting the rebounds either. No. Especially the offensive boards, North Carolina was killing them in that. Stronger team.
Absolutely. Want to congratulate Paul Holden, the voice of Power 105 here in Athens, Ohio. He won the tournament challenge for the JNB podcast. One of 3 people to have North Carolina, his bracket in the early rounds, actually, and the later rounds, with a better bracket as a whole. He had 6 of the 8 Elite 8 teams, 3 of the 4 Final Four teams, and had the champion with North Carolina. So congratulations to him.
Impressive, honestly. With
very
everything
impressive.
Crazy
if he had his bracket up on ESPN, he would have been in the top 1 percentile with how many teams he had going that far.
That's pretty good. Good job, team.
Good job, Paul Holden. This is the craziest part of the year, calendar-wise, with sports.
Definitely.
You have college basketball coming to an end. The Masters we're going to talk about right now. Baseball, and then the playoffs start with hockey and basketball. I mean, this is, for a sports fan, this 3 to 4 week period going from March to April is the greatest time to watch TV.
Oh, it's great. And we always talk about baseball and how exciting it is at the beginning and the end. People lose interest in the middle of the season. In the summer, they're doing other things, going to the beach and stuff. But baseball is really exciting right now. So even those mediocre fans are really paying attention.
And you know who's capitalizing on all this?
Who?
CBS. Let me give you a rundown real quick of what happened this past week, why CBS is doing so well. Right now, March Madness and every game is
Yeah.
on a CBS network affiliated channel.
Yeah.
If CBS, TNT, TBS, and True TV. Right after that, before the Masters start, which is also on CBS, who retired? Tony Romo, and he becomes the number one color commentator for a CBS. He takes over for Phil Simms, and I think this is all played off. I think CBS knew about this beforehand. They want to keep all the attention on them for this a whole month period, from the whole time March Madness starts till it ends, and then the week after with the Masters. Right in that dead time,
They need some news.
They need some news. It's unbelievable. Congratulations to Tony Romo on getting that job. We'll see how good he does.
Yeah, I still think he could have had a few more successful years in the NFL, but he makes that decision and go for it. It's what we're doing.
His
Right?
body was breaking down. So let's flip over to the Masters down in Augusta, Georgia, your home state.
Yeah, my home state. It's about 3 hours away though. But yeah, surprising. It's the weather has had a huge impact early. We've got Charlie Hoffman leading the pack right now, 7 under par, and but we've only got 11 people under par right now, which is a little bit low. And most of those people, actually, 8 of those 11 people are only 1 under par. So some wind and some storms there, but things will get going. In the weekend, it will get a little bit nicer as it goes on. People will start to get lower scores. But you wanted to talk about Dustin Johnson.
Yeah, 2 people first off. Dustin Johnson won, and then second off, Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is not playing. He was trying to get in better health. His back, his whole, it's like a Tony Romo situation.
He's indefinitely injured, and I think that us, all of his fans need to just accept that he's not. I think we all are accepting that he's not going to be back anytime soon.
So Dustin Johnson, another storyline, probably the biggest storyline for this whole week, somehow bangs up his knee on a staircase. I think he either fell going up or down. I'm not quite sure of the whole story.
This is what happened. I saw him telling it earlier on ESPN. He apparently was walking on a slick wood floor with socks on with his 2 sons, getting something for his 2 sons, and he went back and hit his elbow right there and his back, and he says his swing is about 70%. It's a little weird story. A little slipping on a hardwood floor. I don't know if that's enough to miss the Masters, but I guess none of us know how he's feeling really right now. So.
I don't know if I can believe the whole story. He's a very unique character. He's been in trouble in the past with cocaine issues.
This could be because he wouldn't pass the drug test, you think?
No, not because of that. No, I think he would have passed the drug test. I think he might have been a little intoxicated. Some alcohol drinks.
Maybe.
I don't know. The whole story is unique.
Interesting character.
He gets up to the first tee and can't play. He says he's in too much pain. I don't know. It's the Masters.
Yeah.
You have unique storylines the whole week. This is the first one. Many to come. I mean, the weather's probably second one. We'll see what happens. We still have a long way to go. Day one's concluded. We still have the cut after tomorrow, and then Saturday and Sunday heat up down in Augusta. Beautiful course. You ever been there?
No, I've not been there, but I've got friends that get to go just about every year, and they talk about how great it is. So
the coolest part about that whole experience is the prices are still the same. They're so cheap from when it first started. I think beers are like $1 or $2. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. I gotta get a picture.
Except you have to be invited by or taken by a member to go there. It's still elite, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure all those people can afford more than a $1 beer.
So before we go to commercial break, we have about 6 or 7 minutes before that. We got to talk about the MLB.
Definitely.
Opening day, opening week started. It's a very special time. If you're a Reds fan, it's a national holiday. You get off school, you go down to the Findlay Market Parade. You walk with everybody from Findlay Market to the stadium. Hopefully get in there and watch the Reds win. They're playing the Phillies this year. Lost opening day, but won the last 2 games, including today. The bullpen has been an outstanding addition for the Reds. I'm excited. I'm a Reds fan. You're an Indians fan. You guys should be excited as well. You guys lost the World Series last year, but you guys at least
3-0, looking good.
Yes.
A stronger team with more confidence this year. I love the way they're playing. Francisco Lindor with that grand slam is just perfect. They know what it takes to win, and watching them this year is so exciting, and I'm looking forward to it. Good, well-rounded team, hitting-wise, fielding-wise, and our rotation looks good too.
Go check out our Facebook, on Twitter, our website, and Instagram. All that's good stuff. Website is seatattheT.com. All of our social medias are at seatattheT. Good stuff. We got writers from down in Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan Lindsay. We got Chris Constable, who is actually not here. Unfortunately, because he actually got his teaching license, he's now allowed to be a teacher in the state of Ohio. That's why he could not come. So congratulations to Chris Constable. Moving forward, though, we're going to have articles all summer long, so go check out our website, seatattheT.com. We'll have content the whole time.
The whole time, definitely.
The whole summer. I want to talk about your innings, though. Last night, you're taking care of the Texas Rangers bullpen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's the lack of skill on the Rangers bullpen or if this just speaks to how good the Indians are offensively. I mean, the Rangers aren't the best team in the MLB. No one's giving them that, but they're about middle of the pack. The way Francisco Lindor is hitting the ball and Carlos Santana working out a extension on that deal right now, right as we speak, they're working out an extension on that deal because he is a huge asset. Hit 34 home runs, career high last year. I just love the way the Indians are playing. Just like I said, it's the way they play. Their style of play is great for fans who love the offensive side of the game. My other team is the Mets. They're completely the opposite, but I love watching this Indian team play.
Absolutely. Now, I don't know if you saw. Did you watch the game last night, the Indians?
I did not.
Okay,
watched
so
the first two.
So it was a unique finish to the game. The Indians were down 2 runs in the top of the 9th inning. Ended up scoring 5 runs, including a grand slam by Francisco Lindor. They showed a fan after the grand slam was hit. The Indians went up about 3 runs, and the fan was crying.
I saw highlights of that.
Folks, if you're that invested in your baseball team and it's Game 3, remember it's a 162-game series. I mean, it's a long season. I've never seen anything like that in my life. Congrats, Indians, though, playing excellent baseball, very early still. Got to stay off the injury bug, and you move forward from there. Anything else about baseball?
That's all I got.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. You guys here watching us on Facebook Live, this is just for the editing team. When we come back, we're going to have NHL, and it's time for almost playoff hockey.
And I know why you mad, cause I'm stunting, yeah. Say I know why you mad, cause I'm stunting, yeah.
Kinda new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
And I know why you mad, cause I'm stunting, yeah. Say I know why you mad.
Welcome back to the JMV Podcast. My name is Bobby Levine. Alongside me is Jackson Schroeder. Next to me over here on my right side, Ethan Graham and Shane Dazen. Over here next to Jackson on his left side. Want to give a huge shout out to J&J Mobile Detailing, our proud sponsor. Get your car washed. I'm telling you guys that right now. Right behind.
I'm taking mine down tomorrow. Baby.
Behind Avalanche Pizza on East State Street. Tell them the J&B podcast crew sent you guys. Everything will be nice. I guarantee the car will smell unbelievable. My car still smells great.
Just tremendous. They just do tremendous work.
Tremendous work. Thank you, Joe and Big John down there at the shop. So let's go here and talk about hockey.
Let's.
The best time of the year. Hockey playoffs are about to start. Every team is pretty much locked in. It's just about seeding right now. But before we talk about the playoffs, looking ahead to next year, a huge story developing in the NHL. I guess the NHL as a whole does not want to send their players and take a break for the Olympics. As the Winter Olympics is approaching next winter, they're not going to allow the players to take a break. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
Well, the first thing I thought of with this is, it makes me a lot less interested in the Olympics because, of course, you want to see the best players out there for their country. You want to see the best, play going up against the best. And the other dominant thought I had this week, Bobby, as this story broke, was, some thoughts about Alexander Ovechkin's comments saying, he will go regardless.
Yeah.
And, I kind of compare that to, if the NBA, had the same problem with the Olympics, if a huge star like Steph Curry came out and said, I'm going, that's probably going to have a trickle-down effect for the rest of the league. So as right now it stands, yes, they're not going to be there. But, if Ovechkin's serious about being there and going, I think that could, potentially shift some of the players there. Shane, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, the NHL considered this to be a closed matter when they reported it the other day, but it remains anything but closed, I think. As we talked about, players like Ovechkin, guys like TJ Oshie also speaking out. He had an incredible Olympic there in Sochi back in 2014, so he would be a good voice.
A household name from that.
He'd be a good
Olympics
voice on that matter, yeah, for sure. And these types of players are speaking out against, non-participation in the Olympics, and I think that we're going to see that trend continue here as we move forward into the playoffs and into the early stages of the off season. A little bit of an issue obviously would be scheduling. If the NHL sets his schedule and these players decide to go regardless, they're going to be missing 2 or 3 weeks of games for their respective teams, so that's going to be an issue to look forward to as we move on in the matter. But honestly, I'm kind of in for it a little bit here. I think that harkening back to that 1980s miracle-esque style of hockey is, something that maybe not be great for the game in terms of exposure. Obviously, you want to see the best players on the ice, but it's going to make for a heck of a hockey tournament here if we've got amateurs going up against professionals in Russia or professionals in Sweden. It's going to bring back those memories of, that championship team back in 1980, and maybe we catch lightning in a bottle, the U.S. does, and ends up running it and winning the tournament. That would be a really cool storyline to hear.
I certainly hope it would, but they did call that a miracle for a reason. So I don't really see college kids going up against KHL teams.
Hey, if it happened once, it can happen again.
I suppose so. But it's another thing you mentioned. You talk about exposure a little bit with the NHL and the Olympics. I think it would be terrible if the NHL players didn't go. This is the one time every 4 years. I hate to compare hockey to soccer, but it's kind of the same way. With the World Cup where everyone has eyes on hockey.
Yeah.
No matter what for these 2 weeks. Jackson, you're more of a casual hockey fan. I'm sure you have eyes in the Olympics. For these 2-3 weeks. So if the top players in the world aren't there, I think that'd be tremendously disappointing to this large casual hockey audience we have in the States.
I will say this right now. If Alexander Ovechkin says he's playing for his national team in Russia, or if Crosby said he's playing for Canada, 100%, more than enough of the NHL players will go and represent their nation just because it means so much. If they're saying that other great players are going to say
the domino effect.
It's absolutely domino effect.
Geno Malkin, Evgeny Malkin of the Pittsburgh Penguins just came out today and said that he was waiting to receive clearance from team owner Mary Lemieux and Ron Burkle about playing in Russia, for Russia next year in the Olympics. So we're going to see that trend continue here, especially for those Russian guys. They have it in their blood to go play for their home country. They love it.
They also love vodka. So moving forward, to change a little bit, I guess now, instead of looking ahead into the winter coming up, let's talk about the Penguins and the Jackets. If you want to read a little bit or discuss a little bit of the Penguins' injury bug, or what they're looking forward to. They're going to play the Jackets. That's a done deal. Mm-hmm. And after this, we'll go into the Jackets news and information on that.
Yeah, the Penguins have been absolutely decimated by injuries here as we reach the playoffs. We're starting to see some guys kind of trickle back into the lineup. Trevor Daley, who was out for a few weeks there with a lower body injury, playing his first game back for the Penguins here tonight against New Jersey. So that's some positive news for the Penguins, especially on that defensive end, where we just got some news yesterday of star defenseman Chris Letang being out for 4 to 6 months with surgery for a herniated disc in his neck. So you're not going to have that body in the lineup for the playoffs. Nice to see the Penguins get a guy like Trevor Daley back and try to get some of that production back into the fold for the team. But what they have done with this AHL lineup that they have brought up has been absolutely tremendous. Looking at the talent that they have in the farm system, these are two organizations, both our AHL and NHL affiliates, that have the longest active playoff streaks in both their respective leagues. So it speaks to the talent from within the organization and the longevity of their success with guys like Crosby and Malkin. And you look at those complementary pieces like Connor Sheary, like Brian Rust, Jake Gensel, coming in there and chipping right in, just fitting seamlessly into Mike Sullivan's system that he has implemented in Pittsburgh. And you really got to like that continuity throughout both the AHL and the NHL organization. But as we reach the playoffs, we're going to get some guys back, which is going to be good news. Carl Hagelin looks to be on the mend here. He's about to get off the IR, so that's going to be another body to have in the lineup that's going to be valuable for the Penguins. And guys like Mark Streit, who are dinged up, some other guys in the lineup who play lesser roles for the Penguins coming back and filling some of that depth is going to be absolutely crucial for them as they reach the playoffs.
And with Pittsburgh, you mentioned, there's a lot of injuries. We've seen it year after year, and especially last year. It's going to be, how far can Crosby, drag these other forwards that, outside of, Kessel, Hagelin, and Malkin, aren't the biggest names, aren't the most skilled players. How far can he drag them? Last year it was the Cup. I'd be pretty surprised if they got back there again. Count lightning in a bottle twice, but it's
It's called a miracle for a reason.
I'm not stipulating that the Penguins are going to go out there and run the show.
No. I never said you did.
It's going to be very hard for a team to repeat as Stanley Cup champions. If you get it once, you're lucky enough to do it twice.
But I think that's the major storyline.
Stuff that dreams are made of here, and we're certainly dreaming in Pittsburgh. So
you guys have gotten it done the last year, so I think us in Columbus are ready and willing to root on this team all the way till June. What's going on in Columbus, though?
Yeah, right now they can't really score goals. I know they have 3 tonight, but they're down one right now. This is the most goals they've scored in quite a while. This is a team that was so potent on the power play with that man advantage. It's almost seemed automatic, at least for them to score once or twice a game during that massive winning streak. This is a team that is 0-15. Their last power play goal coming March the 13th against the Flyers. Simply, they can't score. Guys like Werenski, are losing their scoring punch. Atkinson losing their scoring punch. Dubinsky, who's heating up, over this past month, is losing their scoring punch. So they got to get those guys back rolling again. I know Sauter has 2 goals tonight. Yep. You love to see that if you're a Blue Jackets fan. But it's also starting, the injury bug. Werenski is a huge player. He's been huge for the Blue Jackets on the blue line this season. An absolute stud at 19 years old. We saw him out last night against the 2 nights ago, against the Penguins. That was a major hole on the blue line for them. So, if they can get scoring goals again, obviously they're going to have a tremendous chance to win some hockey games, as always.
Now, I realize the injury bugs hit the Jackets right now. Looking back 2 days ago when they played the Penguins have a long list of injury bugs. But other than Letang, everyone else would be on a playoff roster. They're sitting out, resting right now, just like the Jackets. Once it comes time next Tuesday when the playoffs start, all these guys will be back on the roster, ready to go. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing with hockey. Like after the season ends, they always talk about all those players that were hurt and were playing through these huge injuries. Like a couple years ago, the guy was playing through a whole broken foot. I mean, that's
Grant Campbell.
Yeah, Campbell, exactly. Campbell.
Patrice Bergeron out there with a punctured lung for the Bruins.
Rich Peverley had a cardiac arrest on the ice and tried to get back into the game.
The next line shift. I mean, that's incredible stuff for the hockey. These guys are such. I mean, they play such a manly role in this game. I mean, I hate putting it like sexism and stuff like this, but when they get out there, they want to play for their team.
Absolutely.
And they want to win the cup. They want their name on that.
It's not for the weak of heart. It's not like soccer where guys are out there taking dives, acting like they got shot. You puncture a lung, you better get back out there for the next shift.
Unless your name's Nazem Kadri, in which case you do lose that. So.
Yeah.
It's a real man sport.
We got the choir in the back over there preaching. No, it's true. It's true that hockey players are both mentally and physically tough. They're willing to put their bodies out on the team. You can't stress it enough when you see these guys blocking 100-mile-an-hour slap shots, off the chest, off the knee, off the ankle, that these guys are really dedicated to their cause and to helping their teams reach the ultimate pinnacle.
So next week we're going to have a special episode of just the playoff matchups. Yep. We'll have a whole bracket. We'll fill it out like we did with the March Madness. What are the other possible series right now that you're looking at that you're very excited for?
I like anything with the Bruins in it, honestly, right now. It depends on where they finish in terms of positioning there with the last 3 games still yet to be played for Boston. But this is a team on a 6-game winning streak that is really finding its groove as we enter the playoffs. Just clinched the other night. Yep. Got guys like Bergeron that we mentioned earlier, Brad Marchand, who has come onto the scene in the last 2 years and has really exploded into an elite goal scorer in the NHL. To top that off, guys like Pasternak, guys like Krejci, their depth is unmatchable, at least on the forward end. On the defensive end, I think the Bruins have a little bit of a challenge trying to work in some of those slower, bigger body defensemen like Zdeno Chara and some of their other pieces there, working that up to speed. If you're going to be playing teams like the Blue Jackets, you're going to be playing teams like the Capitals or the Penguins, you're going to have to be able to keep up with them. And I don't see Boston really, with that elite stellar defense, but they do have a great forward unit and some really good goaltending in net with Tuukka Rask. And I think that, if they get into a series, they could definitely make things challenging for whoever they're playing.
A series that stands out to me is out west. The Oilers are back in the playoffs. Connie Mack and the Oilers are back in the playoffs. going up against the reigning defending Western Conference champions, the Sharks. Sharks, seem like they have this play-out run thing figured out finally after all these years. Thornton, Pavelski, Marleau, Martin
Thornton
Jones.
and Couture are out right now, though, last I checked.
Yeah, but I mean,
See how that
they
goes.
still made it there. So, I mean, I like them, to be a team that could possibly make it back. The Oilers, how will they respond in the playoffs? We don't know. They haven't been in the playoffs for all these years. McDavid's there. Leon Draisaitl is starting to score goals at a huge clip. So that's a series that stands out to me. Two teams with very contrasting styles. The Oilers are kind of run and gun, if you will, kind of play a really wide open series type of hockey. And the Sharks are there. They're checking. They're getting pucks deep. They have guys like Brent Burns, other guys there on that back defensive line. Who are outstanding.
Yeah, no, a couple teams note for moving forward. Montreal, they got the number 1 seed locked up in the Atlantic Division. They'll probably be going against it's going to be locked up against the Rangers. That series, I think, could be a bloodbath.
Yeah, I think the New York Rangers are a little bit underestimated here as we enter the playoffs. They're the 4th team in that Metro Division, get overlooked by those top 3 teams in Washington, Pittsburgh, and Columbus. But this is still a team to be reckoned with. They've got 2 solid goaltenders in Lundqvist and Antti Raanta. So you're looking at guys that have had playoff experience in the past and who you can plug in and rely on in net. And that's always where it starts with these hockey teams. You got to have that good goaltending if you want to continue to move forward in these playoffs. And with the forward unit that they have, I think it leaves a little bit to be desired, but situationally they can be effective, and same goes for their defense. So we'll see how that goes. Montreal, interestingly, as we know, traded PK Subban last year, get Shea Weber to come in there and man that group for them and see. It's going to be interesting to see where he leads this team and how far they get into the playoffs. Another interesting story note for Montreal is obviously the acquisition of Claude Julien as their head coach, and he has had the boys on a run since he has stepped in as the lead skipper of Montreal, and he's got that playoff experience too. So you got a proven coach, you got a proven goaltender in Carey Price, and you've got some big name guys in Shea Weber, Max Pacioretty. Those guys could definitely create some problems.
Before we go to a quick commercial break, let's go over quick individual awards. Best goaltender.
Bobrovsky, it's not even close.
I'm willing to give it to him as well. I think the same can be said for Holtby, but yeah, go for it.
Yeah, Bobrovsky playing out of his mind. 202 goals against average, that's first in the NHL. 933 save percentage, first in the NHL. Second in wins with 41. I mean, this could go beyond Vezina. There's a legitimate argument that this man, Sergei Bobrovsky, is the MVP at this league. You look at what if Columbus didn't have an elite goalie. Are we looking at the playoffs? I don't know.
It's going to be tough.
It's potentially, but Sergei Bobrovsky has gone out there and, a matter of fact, stole them games. Aaron Portzline talked at the beginning of this year, Blue Jackets writer, for the Dispatch, their main beat writer, that if the Blue Jackets are going to be a playoff team, Sergei Bobrovsky is going to have to be the first star 30 or 40 times. I'd venture to say he's done that and more.
100%. Give me one name. Don't have to explain why. MVP.
Connie Mack.
McDavid. Yeah,
McDavid.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what I know. You said normally not to explain why, but I'm going to go into it really quickly because I know you were expecting me to say Sid.
Yeah.
No. McDavid. 11 years since the Edmonton Oilers have been in the playoffs. Obviously, breaking the schneid would not be possible without a guy like Connor McDavid. What he has done for this league in rejuvenating kind of that young audience that was starting to slip a little bit with the likes of guys like Crosby and Ovechkin getting older. He's really brought them back into the fold. He's kind of rejuvenated interest in the game from areas where we're not accustomed to seeing it. You look at ESPN every night and you're seeing highlights of hockey on there. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? 2 years ago, you'd be lucky if you'd be able to catch like the B game, after LeBron James rant about cotton candy. So it speaks to like where hockey's going, and I think that McDavid's going to be the guy that ultimately leads them there.
Well, next week we have a whole NHL episode moving forward. I want to thank Shane and Ethan for joining us here at the
I want to
table.
thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
I appreciate
Nice haircut, Bob.
I appreciate it. I love the sweater and love the Fu Manchu going out the playoff mustache as we speak. Talking about LeBron James, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we have Matt Harrington on talking about everything NBA here at the table, JB Podcast.
And I know why you mad, cause I'm stunting, yeah. Say I know why you
So,
mad.
I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
And I know why you mad, cause I'm stunting, yeah.
Welcome back to the JMB Podcast. I'm Bobby Levine. Alongside me is my man, Jackson Schroeder, and Matt Harrington alongside us as well, talking about all things NBA. The NBA is getting down to the wire just like the NHL.
Sure.
Playoffs are just around the corner.
Next week.
Same time as hockey, man. I love it.
Next
It
week.
goes from
Best time of the year.
April to June.
We went from college March Madness
Yep.
to NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs. It's a beautiful time.
And
what
we
a
get the
time.
Masters too.
And the Masters.
nobody's
And
thinking
opening day.
about it.
And opening day. Don't take opening day away from me.
NBA is what draws TV ratings.
Yeah,
Nobody's
right.
thinking
No
about
one.
the
Who's
Masters.
watching the NBA right now?
The Masters of
Everybody.
No one's watching
Everybody.
regular
Who's
season.
watching the Masters?
Everyone's watching.
Everybody.
Everyone watches the Masters.
All right.
All right. So let's talk about probably the biggest topic in all basketball, whether it's college, pro, even high school. The Ball family. Lonzo Ball comes
I'm
out.
tired of
I
it
love
too.
it.
He's great for TV.
I love it.
He comes out and says
Entertainment, I guess.
he'd rather be a Laker than the #1 draft pick.
You know what? I think that's a case of him growing up as a millennial and seeing the Kobe era and the Shaq and all that.
Yeah.
But mainly it's just Kobe. And he grew up in Southern California.
Yep.
His dad's from Compton, and there's a big influence with that. So why not be, if you're a high caliber, high talent guy, why not be a Laker fan and want to play with the Lakers, the team that you grew up watching and loving and inspiring to be playing for? So that's my take on it. When I see Lonzo Ball, I do think he's a #1 draft pick.
Okay.
When I see him, he just oozes Jason Kidd to me. If you go back to his highlights, Jason Kidd was super athletic, like Lonzo Ball. He was dunking the ball on fast breaks.
Yeah.
He's making passes nobody else sees, and he's getting rebounds, triple doubles, like it's nothing. He just oozes Jason Kidd to me.
Yeah, Lonzo Ball, another big headline that just came out. He's ditching his dad as his agent as of now. He just hired a new agent, which is great.
That's good. That's very good business.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good basketball player. His dad seems to be running TV ratings right now, and there's a debate on whether that's a good or a bad thing. But it's a thing nonetheless. And Lonzo Ball is going to be getting his mind back on track, back to basketball. I like that he wants to play for the Lakers. He's an LA kid, and he isn't afraid to say that he would rather take a little pay cut, which he can make up for in some sponsorships or so, and the title as the #1 pick to play for his hometown team, a team that is now possibly not even they have a 50% chance of getting a first one of the first 3 picks now.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is crazy to think of where they were a month ago. That was almost locked in.
And back to your point with losing money from being the #1 draft pick to dropping down a little picks. Jordan wasn't even the #1 draft pick.
Yeah.
He was the #3 pick in the draft.
Yeah.
And look at him. He owns a team. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to compare.
He's the richest athlete in the world.
Exactly. Those are pretty lofty comparisons
Huge,
to say
yeah.
the least. But I understand your comparison there with that. Definitely.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little take on this. The problem that I have with the Ball family is it's not you're just getting the son to play. You get the whole package. You get his father talking,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you want that whole spotlight. I know it's LA, and you get the spotlight regardless with LA. But if some other team drafts him, say a Brooklyn, I mean they're horrible.
Well, they don't have that pick.
Not yet. You never know though.
They might.
They
yeah.
might. They're going to be in the lottery for the worst team in the NBA.
Well, are you
think
talking about for Lonzo, or are you talking about for the family lineage?
No, I'm talking about if they get the #1 pick and they take him #1 overall.
Boston has
Brooklyn's pick,
Yeah,
excuse me.
exactly,
So that'd be huge for them. But if some other team drafts him, do you think he's going to hold out and not want to play for them?
No,
He'll play?
He wants to play for the Lakers, definitely.
He just
but
doesn't want to go to Minnesota. His dad doesn't want.
Nothing's in
I mean,
Minnesota.
yeah. Well, Minnesota's looking like a pretty good team. They got Zach LaVine. They got young guys. If I was a high caliber player, high lottery projected player, Minnesota doesn't seem like a bad place to me. But that's just my own perspective.
Yeah.
But as far as the family lineage and the team picking Lonzo Ball and whether Lonzo Ball was to play for them. I think he just wants to play for any team, but definitely the Lakers is the preferred choice.
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely. Moving forward to the draft as a whole,
Yeah.
who are the best picks in your eyes that teams need to look out for?
Again, Lonzo Ball
Okay.
is my number one choice. Again, he just oozes Jason Kidd to me. He's 6'5", 6'6", get triple doubles like Jason Kidd did, and just live up to that legacy. Number 2 is Dennis Smith. Nobody's really talking about him a lot. He's 6'3", he's uber athletic, and if you didn't pay attention to him in college, he also was getting triple doubles. He got maybe 2 triple doubles, which is a lot in college requirements. He's 6'3", he can pass the ball as well. He can shoot the ball too as well, which is a big thing. He's not one of those point guards that you can back off and just make him drive the ball. He can shoot the ball. He can lead a team. He can do whatever you need to do. Play defense as well. He's the Russell Westbrook type athletic that you look for in a point guard nowadays. If you're looking at point guards nowadays, I think you want the Russell Westbrook athletic mode that he's displaying. And Dennis Smith definitely displays that. And my number 3 best pick of the draft is Jason Tatum. Going through his freshman year, the beginning of it, he looked a little like a freshman, to say the least. But as he went along, he showed, plays where he was just like picking apart the defense. Those ISO plays, he looked like a professional player. And I'm just like, wow, where did this come from? But obviously, he's 6'9", he has a great wingspan, and he can shoot the ball. He's been developing that mid-range jumper, and it's kind of reminiscent of Carmelo. I'm not saying he's going to be a Carmelo-type player, but get him in the ISO situation, he could do that step back, post, fade away like Carmelo, and it's a real good sight to see. Definitely.
Yeah. He covered the first couple picks, but just one that I think that people should look out for to have a successful NBA career and be is Justin Jackson. I think that he's going to be a late round draft pick, but still in the first round. So he could go to a team like the Spurs or maybe the Rockets, a already established team, and just add as a good addition to those teams and be dangerous. I think he's got the athleticism. He can shoot the ball really well.
He's really developed that jump shot.
He's really developed the jump shot, and if he puts on a little weight, which he will playing in the NBA, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with, definitely.
But as we've seen with KD, you don't really need weight to
you don't need
succeed.
skinny.
But he will. LeBron was like 180 pounds or something.
He was little. He bulked up big time. One player
HGH.
I have in mind that I don't want to compare him to Steph Curry because obviously Steph Curry's on an island of his own.
What are you talking about?
You're going to love this one. Who went on a run as a 7 seed and played their heart out and got him there pretty much as the best player on South Carolina? Sindarius Thornwell.
Oh, yeah.
The guy can absolutely shoot anywhere. The guy's a baller. He's a really. First off, if you play for Frank Martin, you should be on a category of yourself. If you can get through his craziness and his, as a coach, and get yelled at every day for pretty much doing your job, whether it's the right way or the wrong way, he will rip you apart. And he got them to the Final Four for the first time in program history.
Program history.
So that in itself is a great thing to accomplish. He was the All-Star. He's an unbelievable player. I like Thornwell. It's a great name, first off.
I think it was just the aligning of the stars.
They beat the best team in the ACC.
Dude, they were spotty all year. They got hot toward the end of the year, definitely.
Same thing as
but
Steph
they were
Curry,
spotty.
stars align.
They were spotty. I just think it was
Get him in the right
stars.
system and watch him shine.
Well, that's a very slim chance. So we'll see what Sindarius does. He's a projected second-round pick. If
Yes,
that.
100%. But the thing is, it's the same thing with Steph. He didn't come, or I don't know about Steph, but he's a senior though. Like the thing is, he's played basketball for a while. He doesn't need more time to grow up.
Are you saying he's mature?
He's mature. 100% he's mature. So watch out. That's my sleeper pick.
That's your sleeper
That's
pick.
my sleeper. He's not going to be a first or early first round pick. He'll definitely be a second round pick in my opinion.
Gotcha.
But if he gets with the right team, watch out. To another soap opera drama, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay. Week and a half ago, LeBron's yelling at Tristan Thompson, do this, do that. A week later, now they have the 1 seed, and they just beat the Boston Celtics in Boston. Huge statement win. They have a 1-game lead. They're getting out of the wire. What's going on with Cleveland?
Cleveland's doing what Cleveland's supposed to do. They have the best player on the team. That whole drama with Tristan Thompson and LeBron, I think that's just been, boiling up especially with LeBron. He's been speaking out on his teams and saying they need to perform better. Maybe he needs to perform better. Maybe his team is doing what they need to do, and he needs to perform better. And I think that's just the result of Tristan saying, "Hey, you've had enough of speaking up. We know you're the best player in the world.
Yes,
but you need to be humble." And that was the point in the game where Tristan was like, "All right, this is enough. Like you made a mistake. I'm gonna call you out on it." Because nobody ever calls out LeBron. Whoever calls out LeBron. That's why David Blatt got fired.
100%.
Here's my take on the Cavs. I love that win last night. They've been slipping off, lost the first spot in the regular season. That win last night meant so much more to the Celtics than it did to the Cavaliers. Obviously, you have the Cavs trying to make a statement in LeBron, and LeBron saying that we can win and we are the best in the East. But he said beforehand that he didn't care that much about it. If he did or not, that's up for debate. But this game would have gone on the track to solidify that number one spot and home court advantage through the entire playoffs for the Boston Celtics. For the Celtics to get the first seed in the East with this Cavaliers team, this full, deep Cavaliers team, that's a huge thing for the Celtics. And I don't know if they think that they could realistically win the championship this year, but winning that first seed would have been their type of championship. Right now, they're down 55-71 to the Hawks, so we'll see how that game goes. The Hawks have a big decision or a huge deciding factor on how this Eastern Conference turns out. They play the Celtics twice and the Cavs once.
They play the Cavs twice.
Cavs twice, and then the Celtics in this game. Excuse me.
And it's a huge game for Atlanta as a whole. They're the 5 seed right now. They lose a couple of these games. They're only a game and a half in the playoffs. That whole bottom half of the East is crazy. Atlanta's 39-38, and then the Heat, your Heat, are the 9 seed looking out are 38-40. They're right there. They lose two games, you can easily get and steal that 8 seed.
If the Heat win out and make the playoffs, I'm not going to be too ecstatic about it.
I've never seen a guy make a playoffs and not be happy about
honestly, because I wanted them to get a top 3 pick and get Dennis Smith. That's my guy. Like I already explained that in the future.
The problem I have with the Eastern Conference is right now you have 4 teams that have a lock in the playoffs right now. You have the Cavs at 51-27,
Toronto.
the Boston Celtics, the number 2 seed with 50-28, Toronto's 48-31, and the Washington Wizards 47-31.
Dangerous.
They're all dangerous.
Those records are fine. They should all 4-1 or 4-0 sweep the first round with teams that are barely at 500 or they'll be below 500.
I don't know. The bottom half's pretty competitive as well because you have the Pacers and then of course
the Bruisers, sure, but they're not going to compete.
Why not? They have Paul George, who's top 10 in the league. Definitely. If you have him on the team and you have all your other parts working, Lance Stevens. How could we forget him? If you've seen his theatrics, the way he pulled off the other day, I applaud.
Why are they so mad at him making the applaud? Who cares?
I applaud Lance for doing that. That's something the fans will love. Not the Raptors, definitely not the Raptors, but fans of basketball will love that. Especially Pacers fans.
Okay, we got a question on Twitter earlier today coming in from Billy Mensel.
Let's answer it.
He asked you, do you still believe that any team is a threat to the Cavaliers coming out of the Eastern Conference after last night?
No.
Nope.
No, I don't. It's just a matter of time. We have to wait till May. Honestly, I think the Cavs may get a little, trouble, and there's going to be headlines, or is this Cavs doom or whatever. But honestly, the Cavs, they're just too deep. They have so many lineup rotations they can go with, so many strengths. But one of the weaknesses that I think they have is that they are too deep, and that some of the best players for their lineup may be down in the bench, and they can't utilize the whole 11 guys that they have on their team that are really good and that can really make an impact.
Like Darren Williams getting 10 minutes a game.
Yeah. Or Derek Williams, who really plays well with LeBron because he's a cutter, he's a slasher. And he can dunk on you.
So the Cavs are the best team in the East right now, and they proved that last night. I don't think they will have any trouble until they get to the finals. And I think
the Eastern Conference or the NBA finals?
The NBA finals. They might have a 1 or 2 game slip up. Analysts will be complaining about it, like you said, but they're going to make it. LeBron's going to get to his 7th straight NBA finals, and there is where they might have some trouble. I mean, you look at this Golden State team, and and they're getting Kevin Durant back, and they've been winning without him. They didn't slip up at all.
Exactly.
I mean, they're flying under the radar. They're scary. They're scarier than last year. We all look at this Cavs team and look at how they won the championship, came back from a 3-1 deficit. They came back from a 3-1 deficit. Had the Warriors got one of those games, they would have lost the championship.
The whole topic would have been, can they three-peat out west?
Yeah, exactly. It's closer than people think, and I think this Warriors team is very dangerous, especially with Kevin Durant back.
I feel like this is can I say this real quick?
Real quick.
I feel like this is a situation where very synonymous to Goku. If you're a big Dragon Ball Z fan like I am, I'm gonna bring that out. Goku, we all know he's the best fighter in the whole universe, in all of the universes. But for some reason, there's always this one fighter that keeps coming back, and he keeps coming back stronger. But Goku, for some reason, keeps beating him. And I just feel like this is very, synonymous to the Cavs and LeBron and what's going to happen in the finals.
Right here first.
Late night stuff at the table at the JV podcast. You never know what's going to come out of Matt Howell with Dragon Ball Z. Before we end the show, we're going to go from your side to my side on who's the MVP. You have either Russell Westbrook, James Harden, or both.
I'm going to just close this. I'm going to go with Russ. What he's doing this year is pretty historic. We've never seen this. I've never seen this. Triple-double for his whole year.
Missed it by 1 rebound last night.
Wow.
He
said he missed the record.
Yeah,
he missed the record. Do they have any more games left?
Yeah, they still have 2 or 3.
He's going to break that record. And they're going to go in the playoffs, and they're going to be pretty energetic. But I have Russ as my MVP guy.
Yeah, I don't like the way Russ plays. Colin Cowherd speaks on this all the time, and I tend to agree with him. Russell Westbrook is a ball hog, and he's not leading this team to where it was. He is the best player on this team, but this is a team that I believe is sitting 6th in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
James Harden arguably has less of a team with him, and he has a better record than the Cavs. I love the way James Harden plays. He's selfless and putting up great numbers compared to the rest of the NBA.
Before we end the show, I called it last semester when you and I had the podcast without Facebook Live. It was just straight on SoundCloud that Russell Westbrook was going to win the MVP. You said James Harden, I said Russell Westbrook.
I think a lot of people said that though when KD left.
It doesn't matter though. Listen. I'm gonna stick to Russell Westbrook winning the MVP. This first series, though, if the playoffs ended or started right now, would be the 3 seed in the Houston Rockets of James Harden against Russell Westbrook. That series is going to be an absolute bloodbath.
Playoff basketball.
Triple doubles every night, 100%. You're getting 40, 50 points from those two guys by themselves, and it matters how their team around plays. And if OKC wins that series, 100%, every player, every analyst out there should give him the award.
Definitely.
Want to thank everyone for watching on Facebook Live. Hit that share button. Next week, we've got the NBA and NHL playoffs starting up. We'll have brackets for both of them. Matt will be joining us again next week. We're discussing every single series and moving forward from there.
And Dragon Ball Z. Sorry.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z as well. Jackson Schroeder, want to thank you as well for coming on. Last sponsor call, J&J Mobile Detailing. Go get your car cleaned up. Especially you. Get your car cleaned up.
Yeah, it's dirty.
Dirty. Thank you guys so much, and everyone out there, be safe.
And I know why you mad, cause I'm stunting, yeah. Say I know why you mad, cause I'm stunting, yeah. Waking up on the hills, right on Ryan, yeah. Smoking on that gas, smell like fire, yeah. Like, got my private chef on my stomach, yeah. Yeah, I like them fresh, she like them sunny, yeah.